Hey everyone, Draco Magnius here for what will be our October month of madness and horror Let's Play for 2021, Omen Exitio Plague. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. So no one really voted in the poll I put up, so I just sort of picked this game to play. I mean, I was gonna use a straw poll like I do most every year, but for some reason the site wasn't working, so I had to use a new poll site. And maybe people didn't click the link in the video because of that. I don't know. But anyway, let's get started. You'll see that there's a main story here already. I just did that to test everything out. But without further ado, let's dive right in. The beginning of a journey. You are accompanied by the sounds of the rigging rustling in the wind, and the swelling of the waves as you stroll along the ship's deck. Its rocking evokes a slight sense of nausea, the wood groaning faintly with your every step, as if something inside wanted to scream, but didn't quite have the energy. A journey, a long journey. Your ship is headed for Zanzibar. How long have you been at sea? I cannot even remember. The days follow one after another, never changing. It feels like living in an endless haze, dazed and captured by the outline in those unknown waters. But all in all, you don't mind the feeling. After all, you're here to forget. Your name is Jake Huntington. You are a doctor, a researcher, or at least you were proud to call yourself one, before your entire world crumbled around you. You've always fought to save people's lives, but now you face a different battle, where you have to kill. Such is the irony of fate. You enlisted in order to escape from yourself, and above all else, from the pain. You look out to the sea, wondering whether this ship can carry you far enough. Reality seems suspended during the sea travel. Time loses all meaning and extends infinitely. Just like the blue expanse spread out before you, day after day you've been watching the horizon ahead, bobbing up and down, when... Jake, remind me again why we're here? It feels like all this water's wiped my memory clean. The voice belongs to Ed O'Bannon, a blonde Irish boy. He can't be much older than 16. Just like every other evening, he had a drop too much to drink, yet he blamed the long voyage for his memory lapses. I'll indulge him, why not? O'Bannon, I've no idea why they're sending us over to this forsaken land on the other side of the world. And let me tell you, I don't even care. All I know is that tomorrow will be there at last. With these words, you leave Ed to his goddamn Irish drinking songs and head below deck. It's time to sleep. You're lying in your bunk, and just like every other night, for the best part of a year, you're having a hard time falling asleep. You toss and turn in your sweat-soaked sheets until... Jake, are you asleep? It's Ryan Vespucci, the man in the bunk next to yours. He's the assistant cook, hailing from Italy. Suddenly you remember that tomorrow it's your turn in the ship's mess. Listen. What is it, Ryan? I didn't notice the options down there. Oops. I left you a list of the provisions we need in the galley tomorrow. I want to talk to you about something else as well. I've been hearing rumors among the soldiers, but maybe we should discuss this matter tomorrow. Good night, Jake. The dorm is filled with heavy breathing and loud snoring of your companions. Apparently, everyone is sleeping soundly except for you. Turning over in your bed, you find the note Ryan left you under your pillow. You pocket it to read in the morning. It's probably nothing important after all, or read it now. You light the candle you keep near the bed and read the note right away. I feel like it'd be better to read this now. The candlelight flickers in the dark, and the words come to life and dance before your eyes, while your pupils get used to the faint light of the wavering flame. Jake, you think I joined the army to atone for your sins, but you're mistaken. You're not headed for Zanzibar by chance. What you will see over there will change your perspective so much that you will turn to your old profession once again. And during this journey, you will discover that you have a friend. Well, it's not Ryan's list. You wonder whether it's just an odd prank by your fellow soldiers, but it seems too clever for them. While considering several theories, you finally slip into fumble. While you consider several theories, you finally slip into slumber, gently rocked by the waves. Won't be long until the landing, but this doesn't mean you can escape kitchen duty. Ryan hands you a bag of potatoes to peel, while he starts working on a bunch of carrots, slicing them with skill and accuracy, which is second to none, better than anyone you ever seen. Are you here because you really want to be a soldier, or are there other reasons? How long have you been in the army? Reasons. Are you asking me if I joined the army out of passion? Well, I wouldn't say so, but the pay is good, and the meals are guaranteed. Besides, it doesn't seem to me that you're here out of passion either. Is it that obvious? Don't worry, apart from some fancy officers, I'd bet few people are here just for fun. Shouts coming from the deck interrupt your chatting. Land ahoy! You hurry up and carry out your tasks before landing. Zanzibar Port is a racket. Zanzibar Port is a racket. Sailors yell in a wide variety of accents while goods are unloaded onto the docks, piling up into small mountains of Sailors yell in a wide variety of accents while goods are unloaded onto the docks, piling up in small mountains of crates. You are on the deck, observing slowly approaching shapes of Stone Town. Soon, at last, you will once again set foot onto solid ground. Have I ever mentioned how hard it is to do all of this in exactly one take? It's really freaking hard. You're guaranteed some free time, so you treat yourself to a stroll around town. You're walking along the quay when a beggar approaches you. His rough hooded tunic covers his face. He reeks and walks with a limp, leaning heavily on a stick. Even though you don't understand what he's saying, you understand from his gesture that he's asking for charity. You hand out a coin to the beggar, and as he reaches out to grab it, you notice a tattoo on the inside of his wrist. You only get a glimpse of it, but it strikes you with its peculiarity. The simple shape reminds you of an eye. The beggar tries to get your attention and follows you. He grabs your shirt, forcing you to stop. He slips his hand into your pocket and then starts running, his apparent disability gone, and he's no longer limping. I mean, I want some information about this. What the hell, guy? Well, I'm gonna take a sip of water. One minute. The beggar runs along the dock as nimbly as an acrobat. When the two sailors carrying some bulky crates pop out in front of him, he vaults clear over them, as easily as if he were stepping over them. The sailor stops to yell at him, dropping the crates blocking your path. Go around, it's probably quicker. You swerve right and sprint past the obstacle, ignoring the men, and they're running straight toward the beggar. When the thief realizes you're still chasing him, he jumps onto one of the small boats moored in a row in the harbor. He hops effortlessly from one boat to the next in spite of their movement and quickly gets away. Before continuing the chase, you better make sure he's actually stolen something of value. You won't give up, you'll catch a thief no matter the cost. Fuck it, let's go. Working up the courage, you continue the chase, hopping onto the moored boats. You manage to keep your balance, but after a couple rather hasty jumps, you have to stop and slow down or you fall into the water. The thief, however, has landed on an occupied boat, and the fisherman on board has caught him by the foot. In a bid to stop him, you must take advantage of it to catch up. Hurry up. You keep jumping from boat to boat. Suddenly, the vessel below you pitches, hit by an unusually large wave. You freeze for a moment, but you manage to keep your balance and jump onto the next boat. The thief is almost within reach, with only one boat between you. You see the beggar wriggling out of the fisherman's hold before hitting him square in the face with a punch that sends one of his teeth flying into the air, and him straight into the brine. You try to tackle him, but this time the sea's motion betrays you, and the thief leaps at the same moment, and the boat sways one time too many. You realize it's too late, that the trajectory you plotted won't be enough to reach the edge of the next vessel. You crash into the unyielding wood of the fishing boat and end up in the water. When you emerge alongside the injured fisherman who's cursing and calling for help, the thief is on the dock again. You see him in the distance, vanishing into the crowd. You slowly swim to the dock to get out of the water. You check your pockets, but the only thing missing is the strange message that found its place in Ryan's list. Why did that man steal it? Probably thought it was money. You're still confused about what just happened when Ryan approaches you on the dock. Jake, the hell are you doing? Leave's over. We've been called to muster. You follow the half-Italian to the dock of your ship. The troop is examined and soon makes its way to the headquarters. Yeah, I'd try to give him a more Italian accent, but I mean, it's kind of hard to come up with voices when you don't know the description till after the fact. But anyway, you march with the squadron you were assigned to, lost in your thoughts. You expected an entirely different welcome from Zanzibar. Oh, it says continue over there. With sweat and blood. Smith. Wake up! Everyone on their feet, quick! You open one eye, followed by the other. You feel the slow swaying of the sea, and that particular smell of the ship. Something like unwashed bodies and acrid salt which prickles your nostrils. But it's just for a moment, and within seconds, you're on your feet. It's Smith, captain of the troop, who's yelling at you early in the morning. O'Bannon groans as he's still not up, and luckily, the captain is unaware of it. The cries of Captain Smith could sink a battleship on their own. O'Bannon get to his feet. We're ready, Captain. Sure, let's get him up. Come on, O'Bannon, stop dreaming about whiskey bottles and get a move on. I'm awake. Your Irish friend's whiny character reminds you of a child who doesn't want to go to school. Not even my mum was this annoying. O'Bannon mumbles some more incomprehensible words, and with considerable effort, he gets to his feet wobbling. It seems he's still drunk from last night. You better keep an eye on him, to prevent him from getting severe scolding and a flagrant punishment. You're outside waiting for the training to start. O'Bannon is next to you, still sleepy after weeks of travel. Smith fears you'll all have gone soft. Looking at the men in your row, you're fumble. The doubt seems to be entirely valid. You can see the disorientation and the lack of sleep on their faces. The air is filled with sand, and your boots sink into the mud. The view is desolate, except for some isolated shacks. Smith is explaining the details of this morning's training with a cracked, rasping voice. You are distracted by the view. The weariness from the journey makes his speech hard to follow, and you end up missing parts of it. But you're sure you're not the only one. No one can get used to this new situation due to the brevity of the captain's speech. You hesitate for a moment, but Smith breaks the silence with unyielding command shouted aloud. Come on, move, laddies! Until you're well awake! Let's see, +1 observation. You put yourself at the head of the group you want to control the pack. Help Ed gives me speechcraft. Stay next to O'Bannon, try to help him. Save energy gives me medicine. You follow Ryan, who's running at a regular pace. You don't want to get too tired too soon. Outrun gives you fighting. So I could get observation, speechcraft, medicine, or fighting. I think I'm going to go for speechcraft. I like speechcraft in most games. O'Bannon limps at the back of the group. Ed, you better pull yourself together quick or we'll be in trouble. Don't worry, Jake. If I don't collapse gasping for breath, this race will get rid of the hangover. Once you arrive at the training ground, you must crawl through the mud and overcome several grueling obstacles, climbing walls, barbed wire, and thick tires. This time, no one waits for Smith to start barking orders, and you all dive into the ground for the next exercise. Well, hopefully the mic didn't pick that up. I tried to mute it in time. You take a breather to see how O'Bannon's getting along. In his current condition, you're worried he'll end up sinking into the mud and suffocate. Your concerns turn out to be well-founded. You see O'Bannon trying to slip out to catch his breath. Unfortunately, he ends up lying down with his face right in the muck, in the middle of the training path. O'Bannon! Keep doing that, and I will put you in isolation! Good job, Vespucci! Huntington, you need to work harder! Smith surely isn't generous with his encouragement. You try to clean yourself up as fast as possible. Your clothes are wet and heavy. Not exactly ideal for your next task, climbing a palm tree as quickly as possible. Picking a coconut and climbing back down, preferably in one piece. See, I can get medicine if I do a relaxed pace. Start breathing deeply and monitoring your heartbeat. Observation. You carefully try to climb the palm tree using the right footing. Speed gets me agility. You use your agility to reach the top as quickly as possible, or more speechcraft. Captain O'Bannon's not feeling well. I ask permission to take care of him. Let's see, do I want to do more points into speechcraft? Or do I want to do relax to try and get some medicine up? Because those are the two I'm stuck between. I think I'm going to go with selfless. I appreciate your comradeship, Huntington, but I want to see your coconut all the same. Whoa. Easy there, Smith. I'm sorry, Captain Smith. You know, that could get you court-martialed. Oh, you mean from the tree? Well then. You nod, helping O'Bannon to sit on the ground, then carry your task. You try not to show any annoyance or irritation towards Smith. You deliver the coconut and get back to your mate. It's time for the gun test. Smith examines you quickly with grave glances, while a soldier hands you the rifle. A rifle. The task is simple. You need to hit the target. What? No way! Alright, so let's see. I could do thoughtful for more speechcraft and go 3 for speechcraft. You shoot with your rifle, then encourage O'Bannon to imitate you, trying to be convincing. Disciplined observation. Before shooting, you check every part of the rifle to ensure it works properly. Confident will get me some fighting. You shoot without overthinking, or I could do calm for medicine. You're nervous and your hands are shaking. You will try to relax before shooting. I'm gonna do medicine. You take position, but you wait a bit to stop your hands from shaking. You close your eyes and focus your breathing. Meanwhile, you hear your comrades' shots go off right next to you. Almost everyone is already shot. What's happening, Huntington? We are not playing around. This is the army! You open your eyes and shoot. It's not a bad shot. Not far from center, but Smith doesn't appreciate your hesitation. After the shooting range, Smith takes you to a large, flat, dusty area. In front of you, there are a series of worn-out cannons. Smith wastes no time in pairing off the men to cooperate in both the maintenance and actual use of the cannons. He probably wants to test your teamwork skills. You find yourself paired with O'Bannon, who joyfully comes to you, stumbling a bit. Let's see, that'll give me fighting. Force O'Bannon to stay quiet, you'll manage shooting yourself. Watch, observation. You observe how your comrades work. You want to improve your technique and have a better result. Manage. You carry out the task trying to prevent O'Bannon from helping you too much. Or authoritarian. Speechcraft. You pressure O'Bannon into helping you. I think I'm going to grab a point in observation. You carefully watch the other pairs busy with their cannons. O'Bannon is too preoccupied with his headache to help you much. You mimic 2 skilled soldiers, and all in all, you manage to shoot decently. Smith is not satisfied at all. Is he ever satisfied, though? And he sharply explains your next task. It's time to practice hand-to-hand combat. Naturally, you're paired with O'Bannon. Oh, no, I'm gonna have to beat a drunk in a fight? Say it isn't so. Well, it depends on what kind of drunk he is, I suppose. He could be a pretty tough dude. You look at your partner, assessing his state. He's still a bit dazed, but at least he's standing, and seems a little more aware. So you get set to carry out the task. Decide to distract O'Bannon. Try to strike O'Bannon to stun him. Get a point in fighting. You attack without giving O'Bannon time to respond. Or you block and dodge O'Bannon's blows. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go for a defensive to get some points in there. You fight defensively, studying your enemy's behavior. While you block and dodge his attacks, he's a bit clumsy, but his blows are not light. You quickly identify some faults in his guard, and, at the best opportunity, you knock him down with a couple blows. I'm curious about our current character sheet. Okay, Jake Huntington, date of birth, place of birth London, healthy. Where are my points? I have a 2 in speechcraft, a 1 in agility, a 1 in medicine, a 1 in observation, nothing in fighting yet. Oh, and I have some points to spend. Well, shit, I might as well add some in. Okay, so let's do... Never mind. I have 8 experience and they cost different amounts. Ah, well, never mind. Whoops! And I can just highlight them to see what they are. Okay. What else we have here? The map. I figured I'd take a moment to just look around what we got. We're in Zanzibar, as previously discussed, without words. Items, characters, mysterious tattoo, and chivos. Okay, let's get back to the book proper. Smith stares at you for a couple seconds. Then he mumbles something, but seems pleased. He orders you to get started on the next task. Once again, you are to practice hand-to-hand combat, but this time your opponent is Vespucci. You look at him, and he smiles. You both know he's stronger than you. Okay, carefully, you try to limit the damage, raising your hands to protect the most vulnerable parts. Observation, you try to buy time in order to find a fault in his guard. Counterattack, try not to give him the time to attack you, or quick. So, because I know he's stronger, it's probably going to make more sense to try and defend myself as best I can. But analyzing is also pretty good. Maybe we can find a fault in his guard and exploit it. I think I'm going to go with that. You decide the best strategy is to observe Vespucci's technique. You take your time, dodge and block his blows. You're getting tired, and you feel pain where you've been hit. But your strategy pays off. You realize Vespucci's guard is full of openings. You hit him with a well-calibrated jab to the chin, knocking him down. As your comrade brushes the dust off his trousers, you hold out your hand with a smile. Ryan smiles back, takes your hand, and he gets up, congratulating you on the good fight. Smith continues relentlessly shouting orders. You pick up all the equipment, the backpack, and the training rifle. It seems that the captain wants you to be full of adrenaline for this combat simulation so that you don't hold anything back. He forces you to run right through the jungle to reach your next destination. You glance at O'Bannon and notice his arm's bleeding. Wait, Ed, what happened there? You point at the trace of blood on his hand. O'Bannon shrugs to minimize his injury, and you answer with a smirk, gesturing him to come towards you. Try to patch him up as best as you can. You can look after his injury later with greater care. Apologize, I had to stop. You got hurt during our fight. Wash the wound and bandage it. Come here, Ed. As slow as you are, we'll be the last anyway. O'Bannon mumbles and smirks, but he gives you his arm. You lift his sleeve and check the wound. It's not too bad, but it may get infected here in the dirt. You clean it with your canteen water and wrap it with a handkerchief. When the training is over, you will take another look at it. You and O'Bannon are the last to reach Captain Smith's prearranged spot, both panting and red-faced. You are welcomed with a barrage of insults, which Smith spits at you, both with equal parts of saliva and venom. The squadron moves together, but without you, O'Bannon and Vespucci. You fell behind to deal with your friend's wound, and the Italian wanted to assist you. He's always ready to help. Ed is immediately taken to the headquarters for his wound to be sutured. You wonder whether you should follow him and perform the task yourself, or leave him in the hands of another doctor and go on with the training. I'll just continue with the troop. I mean, I have no reason to not trust the doctors here, right? And I kind of have to get on with training, so... You notice two sergeants talking, so you and Vespucci move forward, silently, to listen in. First Sergeant. This is a very realistic battle simulation. Keep it to yourself, but I've heard that we will soon be heading into action. The political situation here is unstable. You look at Vespucci. Just next to you, he gravely nods. This rumor's been spreading amongst the men for a while. Hearing it from officers doesn't comfort me at all. Now it's time for the last part of training. Teamwork. The troop stops near an abandoned fortress, and the two groups are ordered to get into formation. One will attack the walls, the other will handle the artillery, either bombarding the weak walls of the fort or providing cover for the frontline soldiers. I think I'm going to go with artillery. The orders are clear. You have to take the fort as quickly as possible while trying to eliminate the enemy's counterattack, and you must decide which strategy to use. Hit beyond the walls to offer cover for the men who are advancing, or hit the same point over and over again with cannons in order to breach the walls. I feel like attacking would be more benefit. You could use your cannon fire to hit inside the enemy lines, but you have no idea where you're shooting, and you might hit some of your allies while trying to help them, so attack just seems like the better option. These are intense moments, filled with shouts, blasts, and dust. The simulated battle seems quite real. The day is now coming to an end, and the mock attack on the fort has been carried out. The men are all exhausted, yourself included. I'm proud of you all! Today you made a real effort! Tomorrow, we could even go on the attack, but for now it's time to rest and refresh ourselves. The day's light has almost disappeared below the horizon, when your captain brings the soldiers back together. He has an important message for all the men. He has not yet started talking. He is waiting for everyone to sit down, but you can feel some serious tension in the air. The pro-British Sultan, Hamad bin Thuwani, I'm pretty sure I pronounced that right, ruler of Zanzibar, died on the day of your arrival on this island. And Khalid, an illegitimate ruler, has since taken his place. An ultimatum has been sent to Khalid, requesting that he abdicate peacefully. That ultimatum will expire tomorrow morning. Woo for experience! Your squadron is lined up at the courtyard at the of headquarters. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, but this time everyone is wide awake. You're ready to set out for the Sultan's palace. Looking around, you can see the anxiety in the faces of your fellow soldiers. The time given for the ultimatum is almost up. The British force is composed of a variety of various ships and around 1,000 men, but the Sultan's army should not be underestimated. Between his most loyal men and the soldiers subdued to his will, the prince has gathered a small army, certainly enough to propose a threat. The reason for Smith's urgency in training the men, with all those hours crawling in the mud and climbing palm trees, is now clear. He was figuring out how prepared his soldiers were, rather than just training the new recruits. Khalid's granted time is almost run out, and the Rear Admiral Harry Lawson, who's on board the St. George, notifies the men to stand by for the attack. You don't know him well, but you have heard he is intolerant of anyone who fights under any banner but his. It's General Lloyd Matthews who begins the attack, ordering his men to open fire on the prince's palace. Well known for his extraordinary willpower and determination, Matthews has just one goal in this fight: unseat the usurper as quickly as possible. Even Smith seems intimidated by the figure of Zanzibar's Prime Minister, General Matthews, and nervously commands his troop to move forward to the palace. He wants a reconnaissance group to avoid ambushes and look for the best point to strike. You offer to go reconnaissance to the dock, offer to assault the palace gardens, you silently wait for further orders. I'm gonna wait for further orders. After command has issued its orders to Smith, he reflects on possible strategies. He then organizes two groups and decides to put you in the one heading to the Sultan's gardens. Okay, we're going into the thick of it. Gotcha. Despite the ferocity of your attacks, with the British ships bombarding the brittle walls and the ground forces attacking tirelessly, a group of the Sultan's soldiers remain unhurt inside the palace gardens. They are shooting machine guns and artillery to hold their position. You manage to sneak behind your enemies. The situation is clear. The Sultan's loyal men are barricaded inside the gardens, which are natural trenches, and they are firing at anyone who moves towards them. If you don't intervene, your men will be at a significant disadvantage. Being at a significant disadvantage will be decimated. You need to neutralize them. Try to sneak forward, have an easier shot. Decide to provide cover for enemy fire while your men's advance. I think laying low is the best. Sneak forward. You nimbly but cautiously pass through the hedges, and you signal your men to do the same. You soon find yourself a few meters away from 10 enemy soldiers. You are now within striking distance of an effective attack. Your men are with you, and as they fall upon the enemy in a flurry of bullets and bayonets, you slice open the belly of an enemy. Brutal. With terrified shouts in their native language, the remaining enemies scatter frantically like frightened rats. You can't let them escape. You arrange a counterattack. Intercept. You order your men to intercept the survivors and prevent them from reorganizing, or persuade. You exploit your enemy's survival instinct, trying to pursue them to surrender. Well, I mean, I've been buffing speechcraft. Surrender! You are outnumbered! If you keep fighting, it will only end up in a useless bloodbath. We are not here to exterminate you! Oh wow, that was a bit of peeking. Maybe I should have backed up a little bit. The Sultan's guards stand still, exchanging tense looks. Slowly, they put down their weapons and lift their arms in surrender. Your men take them prisoner. You manage to carry out the battle without losses or spilling a single drop of blood. The war for the Sultan's palace has turned out to be a surprisingly short-lived affair. After only 45 minutes of steady cannon fire, the British army has forced the Sultan and his men to surrender. Despite the brevity of the battle, you are happy with yourself and how you managed to contribute to the victory at the end of the fight. While he addresses the troops, Smith unexpectedly addresses you in front of the other men. Huntington, you did well in the battle. I didn't know you were a leader. Oh, continue. You head toward the headquarters with your troop. You walk away from where the fighting took place and turn to look at the Sultan's palace, which is still surrounded by smoke from the battle. The ruins collapse in upon themselves, causing a cloud of sand and dirt, while you see the British ships in the distance peacefully sailing away into the background. You fell behind the rest of the troop, and are now far ahead. Wait, what? You fell behind the rest... Oh, I see. You fell behind, the rest of the troop are now far ahead. You speed up to reach them, when an elegantly dressed man approaches you on the street. The stranger takes his hat off in greeting, and speaks to you with a German accent. Oh boy, here we go. Let's try a German accent. Mr. Huntington, could I trouble you for a moment of your time? You are confused. You've never seen this man, so as far as you recall. You stop on the street, staring at him, without uttering a single word, while the crowd seems to distance itself from around you, as if they were trying to avoid the embarrassment of an uncertain situation. Finally, your mind manages to find a concrete answer, while your mysterious interlocutor, no idea what that word is, waits with great patience, with his hat held to his chest. Politely asks his identity. I'm sure you've never seen him, and you have no time to lose. I'll just do that. Pardon me, but do we know each other? Forgive my rudeness. My name is Maya. Nice to meet you, in person, finally. He keeps smiling at you, barely bending his head in a sign of respect, as if he's waiting for your next query, which is not long coming. The pleasure is mine, Mr. Meyer. May I ask how you know my name? You see, Mr. Huntington, I am here on behalf of a group of people who deal with public health. The gentleman group I belong to is very interested in what happens around it, and in the whole world. You, we know, of course, by reputation. What reputation? You're just one of many You're just one of the many doctors in London, and you're not even sure whether your neighbors would recognize you. Meyer's German accented speech stops the flow of your thoughts. I had hoped to talk to you if you have the time, of course. Meyer's invitation. Yeah, sure, why not? You sit down in a bar along the street. The man orders 2 coffees, while he watches you with a strange but friendly smile, unable to inspire trust. He raises his cup just a little, sipping his coffee and studying your every movement, making you uncomfortable. Please don't be so nervous. You make me feel like an executioner ready to cut your head. That doesn't help, sir. The man smiles as he lowers his cup in front of him, leaning his elbow on the table. His hands meet in a tangle of fingers near his chin. He never stops staring at you, not even for a moment. Gendo Ikari poses. Well, no, Gendo Ikari would be in front of his mouth, wouldn't it? Anyway, we know you are not a soldier. Your medical research is cutting edge. I and the gentleman I represent have gathered a lot of information about you, and we'd be interested in working together. Think of us as modern patrons. He laughs, as if he found his metaphor enjoyable, or perhaps he's simply amused by the astonished paleness of your face. You don't need to answer yet, Mr. Huntington. Think about it. You know that every disease has consequences. Some of them go beyond even the deplorable loss of human lives. We are studying a dreadful disease which could soon turn into a pandemic. For this reason, we are looking for people who could really make a difference in dealing with such diseases. People like you. You should not quit. Even though I can understand how, after your terrible tragedy. Tragedy? Is he really talking about Helen? He really has done his research on you, because that was no joke. You can't help wondering how he knows so much, especially about Helen. You managed to leave as soon as possible. You don't like where this is going. You want to see what this Meyer intends to go, intends to go with this, or even if that man knows many things about you, he'll never know how you felt about losing Helen. Oh, I didn't realize how long we've been going on. We're already 40 minutes in, damn. Well, I think we'll end the episode here. In the next one, we'll respond to Mr. Meyer. See you guys then.